The historical persecution of rationalist Jewish scholars stems from an authoritarian political structure known as the Adam-Elohim complex. For centuries, two distinct factions have clashed. On one side are rationalist scholars advocating for decentralized objective law following Moses and Maimonides. On the other is an establishment claiming centralized mystical authority. This establishment maintains control through hierarchic truth. Under this doctrine, factual reality is subjugated to rank. A statement is considered true because a superior authority said it, demanding unquestioning obedience. The scholar Professor Jose Four defines true leadership as operating under the shade of God. This system is decentralized and governed by objective reality and rational jurisprudence. Objective truth functions as a flat network of logical nodes. Hierarchic truth shifts to a top-down pyramid where higher nodes dictate reality below. The establishment enforces this by demanding submission to an Adam Elohim, a leader elevated to quasi-divine status. The shift from objective law to hierarchic truth transformed disagreements into a totalitarian apparatus for absolute control. The biblical Eden narrative functions as a precise political critique of corrupt leadership. The core of the critique lies in the serpent's manipulative promise to humanity, "You will be like Elohim." Maimonides points to the linguistic roots of the word Elohim, which can designate a judge, a magistrate, or a politician. The Targum, the ancient Aramaic translation, goes further, translating the promise as, "You shall be like rulers." When read through this political lens, the fruit takes on a specific legal meaning. In the context of a corrupt magistracy, the pursuit of the fruit represents tovat hana'ah, the acceptance of bribes and illicit personal benefit. Sharing that fruit with a spouse extends the corruption. It represents the institutionalization of protexia, nepotism and cronyism that keep power within a closed, loyal circle. The resulting nakedness experienced by Adam and Eve symbolizes the sudden public exposure of the leader's intellectual and moral illegitimacy. This political blueprint for corrupt governance sets the stage for the historical war between rationalists and the establishment. When rationalist scholars challenge the Adam Elohim establishment using objective text-based law, the system destabilizes. By demanding objective evidence for legal rulings, rationalists strip away the mystical aura protecting the leaders. This exposes their intellectual illegitimacy. To protect their absolute power, the establishment reacts by attempting to annihilate the critic. Their primary weapon is the cherem, or excommunication. The cherem is deployed to enact total, weaponized social death. Excommunication was engineered to preserve the political hierarchy by making it impossible for an intellectual rival to exist within the community. The 1914 crisis in Jerusalem provides a record of how this machinery functions in practice. The target was Rabbi Yahya Kapak and the Dor Dea movement, rationalists who rejected mystical texts in favor of Maimonidean law. The establishment in Jerusalem responded with a formal worldwide cherem, branding Kapak's followers as heretics with no share in Torah. The establishment officially declared the rationalists to be like Gentiles, legally severing them from the Jewish people. This decree invalidated their marriage contracts, or ketubah, fracturing their family structures. Their ritual slaughter, or shahita, was declared unkosher, severing their ability to trade or eat with the wider community. The rationalist scholar occupies a central node in the community, connected to the essential services of Jewish life. As the decree took effect, every line of support was severed, leaving the target totally isolated. The strategy escalated when the establishment denounced the rationalists to state authorities, resulting in the harassment and imprisonment of Kapak and his students. The 1914 cherem shows the establishment using theological framing to execute economic, social, and physical warfare. This weaponization of authority is a systemic feature that continues into the modern era. Professor Jose Four, a modern academic and rabbinic rationalist, spent his career criticizing this exact anti-Maimonidean hierarchy. The modern iteration of persecution substituted ritualized curses with coordinated reputational delegitimization. Polemics in the Haredi media and institutional gatekeeping were used to silence Four, stripping him of communal pulpits and institutional legitimacy. The Adam Elohim complex effectively neutralizes threats to its authority, whether through excommunication or modern institutional blacklisting. The ultimate consequence of the Adam Elohim complex was the physical destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. Prior to the destruction, the leadership permitted predatory usury, nashek and tarbit, and the legal exploitation of widows and orphans. The corrupt leadership perverted the temple's purpose. The sacrificial system was stripped of its ethical purpose and replaced with a system of magical bribes. Because these leaders were corruptible, they assumed God shared their own corruptibility. They believed fine offerings could buy divine silence regarding their crimes. The architectural core of the temple reflects this shift. The altar mutated into a financial ledger of bribes, while data points for usury and systemic debt rose across the society. The temple was destroyed because the establishment attempted to treat God as a corruptible politician. True historical redemption requires the pragmatic reversal of this authoritarian destruction. This true redemption requires the complete dismantling of centralized power structures and the hierarchic truth they rely upon. It requires the re-implementation of objective, rational jurisprudence where evidence outweighs rank. It requires absolute economic justice, the eradication of usury, and the protection of the vulnerable from predatory debt. This aligns with Moses's original blueprint for a decentralized, merit-based system designed to prevent the Adam-Elohim complex. True Judaism survives only when the authoritarian shadow of the Adam-Elohim is replaced by the decentralized shade of God, restoring judges to their original mandate.